A $200 million acquisition, dozens of founders, over $50 million in new venture funding, and it all started with one payments company in Lagos, Nigeria. This is the story most people completely missed, and by the end of this video, you will understand what happened after Stripe bought Paystack. Might be the most important startup story coming out of Africa right now.
Kelly, Stripe is acquiring Nigerian payments company Paystack for what sources tell me is roughly $200 million.
Here is what nobody talks about. When Stripe acquired Paystack in 2020 for over $200 million, everyone focused on the deal, the number, the headlines, the milestone for African tech. But here's where it gets interesting. The real story was not the acquisition. It was what the people who built Paystack did next, because they did not cash out and disappear. They went out and built an entire ecosystem. And now, watching it unfold, it is starting to look exactly like something Silicon Valley witnessed 2 decades ago, something called the PayPal Mafia. To understand why this matters, we need to go back to the late 1990s. Two startups, Confinity, founded by Peter Thiel and Max Levchin, and X.com, founded by Elon Musk, merged to become PayPal. In 2002, eBay acquired PayPal for $1.5 billion. But here is the part most people miss. The PayPal team did not scatter. They stayed connected, they invested in each other, and then they went on to build Tesla, SpaceX, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Palantir. That is what made the PayPal Mafia legendary. It was not just individual success. It was a self-reinforcing network of founders who reshaped entire industries. Silicon Valley had PayPal, and now Africa has Paystack. In 2015, two friends, Shola Akinlade and Ezra Olubi, founded Paystack to solve online payments in Nigeria. That same year, they became the first Nigerian company ever accepted into Y Combinator. By 2018, Paystack was processing over 15% of all online transactions in the country. 15% in one of the most infrastructure-challenged, regulation-heavy, high-pressure markets on the planet. And because of that complexity, Paystack did not just attract good employees, it attracted exceptional ones. Engineers, product managers, and operators who had to solve brutally hard problems under real pressure every single day. They were not just building features, they were building instincts. And that is where everything changes. Because those people started leaving, not because Paystack failed, but precisely because it worked. And what they built after walking out that door is what makes this story extraordinary. Now here is where it gets interesting. They did not just start companies. They started companies that got into Y Combinator, raised millions, and expanded across the continent. Abdul Hamid Hassan joined Paystack in 2019 as a product manager. Less than a year later, he left, co-founded Voyance, a data infrastructure startup, and then teamed up with Paystack's former CTO to launch Mono in August 2020. Mono gives businesses API access to customer bank accounts with full permission, open banking built for Africa. In 2021, Mono was accepted into Y Combinator, just like Paystack before it. Today, Mono has raised over $17.5 million and operates across Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, and South Africa. The pattern had officially begun. And this is the part most people miss. It was not just one person. It was wave after wave after wave. Idor Obang, a former Android engineer, left and co-founded Gray in 2020, giving Africans digital foreign accounts to send and receive international payments. Gray joined Y Combinator in 2022 and raised a $2 million seed round. Emmanuel Okoye climbed from senior engineer to technical lead at Paystack in a single year, then left in 2020 to co-found Brass, a digital bank built specifically for African small and medium businesses, backed directly by Paystack co-founder Ezra Olubi himself. Malik Balagi, who led Paystack's financial crimes compliance unit, left in 2022 to co-found StartButton, helping startups accept payments and manage compliance across African markets without needing local offices. StartButton now operates in South Africa, Rwanda, Nigeria, Kenya, and Ghana. And Paystack partnered with them for merchant expansion. But wait, it keeps going. Two early Paystack employees left to build Chowak, a logistics startup processing over 1 million orders per month across 11 Nigerian cities by 2024, raising $2.5 million in seed funding with Paystack founders as investors. Koshia left to co-found Bujeti, a Y Combinator-backed corporate card and spend management platform that has raised over $2 million. Jimmy Kwesi left to build MoneyCo, a digital bank targeting African migrants in Europe, landing in Y Combinator's summer 2022 batch. And Douglas Kazan, one of Paystack's early engineers, built Seller, a creator-focused e-commerce platform that has already processed over $3 million in payouts for African creators. At least 14 Paystack alumni, over a dozen high-growth startups, more than $50 million in venture funding, millions of users across an entire continent being served by companies that would not exist without one payment startup in Lagos. That is not a coincidence. That is a mafia. Now here's the real question. Why did this happen specifically at Paystack? 3 things set them apart. First, Paystack hired for potential, not pedigree. These founders were not hand-selected industry veterans. Many joined early, were handed real problems on day one, and were trusted to solve them. Second, Nigeria itself was the training ground. Unstable networks, strict financial regulation, low consumer trust. Building payments infrastructure in that environment is not just hard, it is a daily masterclass in resilience, in creative problem solving, in making things work when nothing is guaranteed. That pressure forged a different kind of operator. And third, this is the part that truly separates Paystack from almost every other company. When employees left to start their own companies, the founders did not resist it. They celebrated it. They wrote the checks. They made the introductions. They turned exits into extensions of the network. Here is something worth sitting with. The real success of a company is not how much money it makes. It is how many builders it creates after it is gone. And by that measure, Paystack might be the most successful company to ever come out of Africa. The Paystack Mafia is still young. Some of these startups will fail, some will pivot hard, but a few, almost certainly, will become the defining African tech companies of the next decade. What started as a $200 million acquisition is quietly turning into a continental movement. And we are only at the beginning, because the most important thing a company can ever create is not revenue, not valuations, not headlines. It is the next generation of builders, people who take everything they learned and go build the next layer of the world. Paystack did not just build a payments company, it built people. And those people are now building Africa. If this story hit different for you, hit subscribe and drop a comment telling me which company from the Paystack Mafia you think will be the next billion-dollar breakout. I read every single one, and if you want more breakdowns on the founders and companies quietly reshaping the world, you already know what to do.